What is up, everyone? Just finished up the day. We had 2 dubs and 2 breaks evens. So I'm just going to be going over the trades that I took today. So the first one was actually pre-market. And you can see I took the entry right here. Excuse me. Now, the reason why I kind of entered here is if we look at the 55, or actually first, let me bring down the 233 so we kind of know where I entered based off where. So I kind of entered based off this 233 candle. Let me bring it over here. So I entered based off this 233 candle. And if I draw the fib level, you can see that there's a clear retracement into that area. So we're on the 55. We have this high that is formed up here. Then we also have this low that is formed as well. Neither high or low is broken out. They're both respected as of right now. Especially what we're really looking for is this low to be respected. If this low is disrespected, long trade idea is gone. So what we look for is same thing as what we always look for. A bounce, but then a retracement, and then a bounce up with a confirmed breakout above a certain high, which would be here. And we do end up getting that. But as you can see, price does not respect it. It goes below it. So since price goes kind of below it, I'm kind of out of the trade. The trade idea is gone in my head. Also, if we look at the 34 range, I'm just trying to pull it up here. You can see that even no early entries were given on the 34 range as well. So right here is the zone that we're looking for. And you can see kind of price just went straight down and disrespected the zone that we drew. So I'm no longer interested in that area. So I kind of wait for, price to do its thing again. And the next area where price does do its thing and kind of makes that confirmed breakout to the high side is right here. We have this high. Let me zoom in a little. We have this high and we have this low. Confirmed breakout on this blue candle right here, or on the cyan candle right here. Once we get that, boom, we're good to go long. But we first need to wait for price to retrace back into here. And preferably, we want to see an up close candle, which we get right here. And that, as you can see, I entered here right as it was closing. And I got stopped out in profit right here for about 5 points. It does ultimately, go my way and hit my PT, but as I've been saying, once I'm 5 to 7 points in profit, I tend to move my stop loss to break even. But in this case, we were about 8 points or so in profit. So I decided to place my stop loss a little bit higher. But if I didn't do that, then I still would have not gotten stopped out. If I placed my stop loss at break even, I would not have gotten stopped out, and it would have hit my 10 points. And on this one, you could get a little bit of an early entry. And what I mean by that is if we look at, let me move this over a little. Yeah. So if we look at this blue candle on the 55 is the confirmed breakout of this zone. So now we wait for price to retrace. Also, we want to wait for this candle to close. But if we go on one time frame lower, so on the 34R, we also want to make sure that there is a 34R candle that has closed above this zone, which you can see it does happen right here. And it did happen before the 55R was able to close above it. And it doesn't always happen that way. So you just have to kind of be careful and be on the lookout for that. So 55R closes up here, which is right up here on the 34R. Then you can see a retracement back into here. And what I've kind of been doing is entering a little, I guess, prematurely, but I have strong confluence that price will continue going up. So if I was here, like, I don't know, 5 minutes earlier, 5 to 10 minutes earlier, I probably would have entered long here at around 792 instead of 796 when the 55-hour candle closed from that zone. And you can see it just goes up. So I'm telling you, my strat, it's so good, especially for the base points. The risk reward, not everyone's favorite, but it's what works for me. And I was trying to, for a long time, I was trying to chase, like, the 1 to 2, 1 to 3, even 1 to 4 hour risk reward. But this is kind of what works for me, and that way I'm not in trades longer than I really have to be. So next up, we go on to the 34. And I did take 2 entries here, one right here and another around here. And for both of these, I got stopped out at break even because, once again, we were up 5 to 7 points, placed my stop loss to break even. And, sometimes you get stopped out, other times you don't, which is fine. So for this trade, we're looking at, if we get rid of this fib, I was looking at this area. So on this blue candle, you can see that the pre-market POC was touched, and we are approaching like some sort of supply area that I had drawn out. So I had to be careful about going long here. But I had a little bit more of a strong conviction of going long just because of how this blue candle formed. And we can see that it retraced back in here and kind of bounced back up. And there wasn't a situation that, like, of what happened on the 233 hour over here. You can see that the spot I entered was somewhere around here, but we didn't have an up close candle followed by a down close candle, which was then followed by an up close candle, and all of it respecting the retracement area down here. So we didn't get that on the 144. Instead, we just got a second up close candle, which respected this 50% level, which to me signals a little bit more of a stronger push to the upside, which I felt more confident about. Even though we were at that supply zone and we were at the pre-market POC, I felt okay taking a long. So we can see that first touch in that retracement area is down here. So we have a low and we have this high. So we need this low to be respected, which it is. We get our little tiny confirmed breakout right here on this candle. And we pretty much just wait for price to come back into the zone. And I did enter a little, I guess, early, but I felt good about entering early. And I'll show you exactly where I entered early. Let's see. It was right here. So this box that is drawn is the same box as here. And you can see that we do get a up close candle at 6:44.11, which you can see kind of at the bottom down here, 6:44.11, and the 21R, which is time frame lower, closes at 6:44.11. So at the same time it closes above this zone that we have drawn out. So next thing I look for is just on the 21R, so the lower time frame, I wait for price to kind of come back into this area. And on the first up close candle, I enter. So we get that first up close candle in the following candle, and you can see my entry by this blue mark right here. So I enter, and this was just a market order fill. That's why my order didn't get filled like up here, but I was fortunate enough to get filled a little bit lower. And I did end up getting stopped out because you see we got like up to like at least 5 points up here. So right away, break even. But it ultimately did come back down, and I saw another push up. So after this push up, I entered again, and what do you know, we got stopped out again. And I was tempted to enter long again for a third time in this same area, but honestly, I was thinking to myself, if price hasn't hit my TP and I try to enter around 2 times already, is it really worth trying to go for a third time? Even though, third time's a charm, whatever, but is it really worth it? I didn't think so at that moment, because also we were at that supply zone and we were around the pre-market POC, so you don't really know which way the market wants to go, if it wants to go up or down. You don't know, so I was just rather playing it safe than sorry. So those are the 2 trades I took that were break even. Ultimately, it does go in my direction, my favor. But I'd rather be safe than sorry again. So now we go to the last trade I took, which was here. And this was based off, yet again, another 144. So we can see it was based off of this 144 right here. Draw from the fib from the low to the high, we get a nice retracement. And you can see that it touched the retracement zone right here. And we get a low that is formed here by this blue line. We get a high that is formed right here. So now we just need price to respect this low. And if price can respect this low and we get our setup, we're golden. So you can see that we do get our setup here, but price did not retrace back into this area. And it still hasn't. It's just going up and up and up. Who knows? Later in the day, it could retrace back to this area and it can respect it. But for me personally, if price has moved up a little bit too much, then I don't want to enter. I don't want to really play this zone area too much anymore. I entered here, and the reason why I entered was because if we look at the 21, I'm just trying to pull it up real quick. Where is it? Right here. So if we look at this 21, I entered right here, and I didn't wait for the box to for the price to touch the box. The reason being, if we look at the 144, this is the 144 candle that has the retracement zone that we were looking at. And if we look at the following candle, it was able to close before price retraced back into that zone. So since price on the 144 already closed before price was able to touch this zone again, I felt more compelled to enter long prematurely. But I first needed to wait for a 21 candle for there just to be an up close candle, which there was right here. And yeah, I could have waited for a little bit more of a structure break to the upside, which happens right here, and then I probably could have entered right here, and I wouldn't have been in the trade for a few more minutes, whatever. But since we had our confirmed zone formed right here, the 144 ended up closing somewhere around here in this area. I think right here it closed, the 144. So since 144 closed at this level and we still hadn't touched that box, I knew I wanted to go long, but I just needed to wait for a price to tell me when to enter long, which I did on the 21R. And I entered along, and it does hit the pre-T, and it does keep on going higher and higher and higher. But again, that's not how we trade. We just get in, we kind of get out, nice and quick. So those are the 4 trades I took today. I would say pretty decent day. Definitely had to be a little bit more patient. but still getting like 4 trades within the first hour is obviously really good. But market has been moving a little bit slowly than it has been in the past, which I'm a little like, bro, I just want you to move. Just keep moving. Be a little bit more volatile for me, please. But yeah, so those are the 4 trades I took. And with that being said, peace out.